The event in my life that started out bad but ended to be good was when I cut my finger halfway off. I was at my friend's house in Hilliard, Ohio, and we were all hanging out on her dad's sailboat. Everyone who was on the boat got off besides me and one other person, but when everyone else got off, they moved the ladder so we couldn't get off. We stood on the sailboat for a while and tried to move the ladder closer to the boat, but we couldn't reach it, and everyone else was busy doing other things and not paying attention to me or Jasmine on the boat. After a while, Jasmine and I decided to put the actual ladder to the boat down so we could get off. I unhooked the ladder and dropped it down, but as I dropped it down, my finger was in between the ladder and the boat, and it cut the top of my middle finger halfway off, and a small cut on my ring finger. I yelled for Jasmine, and she started freaking out because of all the blood, and I was mad because I knew if everyone else didn't move the ladder, it would have never happened. I was worried because I didn't know what to do, but I still tried to get off the boat, but it didn't work. I yelled for my friend's dad, and he ran over and helped me off the boat and took me inside and told his daughter to go get my mom. When we went inside, my friend's dad turned on cold water and put my finger under the water to wash the blood off to see how bad the cut was. I was scared that I had to get stitches and my finger wasn't going to stop bleeding. He talked to me and told me I needed to go to the hospital to get it looked at and tried to calm me down and let me know everything would be okay. His neighbor was a nurse and she looked at my finger and also told me I needed to go to the hospital as soon as possible to get it looked at and to get stitches. When my mom got there, she took me to the hospital. At the hospital, I had to wait a really long time before I seen the nurses and doctor. They took an x-ray and told me I broke my finger and needed to get stitches. I got stitches in both of my fingers and got to go home. But before I went home, the doctor called my mom out of the room and told her that if the bone in my finger that was broken didn't heal correctly, I would have to get my finger amputated. I was worried about my finger not healing correctly, but I was happy I listened to everyone and went to the hospital to get stitches. A few months later, after the accident happened, I had to go back to the hospital to make sure my finger healed correctly, and it did. I was so relieved that it healed the way it was supposed to, and I got to keep my finger.